Static buzz crackles in the night. James and Dan on the air alive. Hump Day warriors, we thrive. Raise a glass, feel the sound. Happy hour shakes the ground. Waves of freedom break the air. Rocking parks like we just don't care. Antennas twist, catch the sky. Ham radio, calling out the brave. Tonight we rise, tonight we rave. Raise a glass, feel the sound. Happy hour shakes the ground. Waves of freedom break the air. Rocking parks like we just don't care. Feel the pulse, it's a living fire. Live stream, raw hearts conspire. Through the static, we break the chains. James and Dan, tearing through the veins. Raise a glass, feel the sound. Happy hour shakes the ground. Waves of freedom break the air. Rocking parks like we just don't care.
What's up, Ham Radio? Kilo Echo 8, Papa Zoo November, the Ham Radio Adventure Guy. Thanks for stopping by. Your one stop for everything Adventure Radio. It is Hump Day. Time for the Hump Day Happy Hour. We got a great show tonight. As promised, we're just going to be talking about a POTA special event, and I ain't going to let you down. We got a good one tonight, and we'll talk about it in just a second. But first, we'll thank the Patreons because they're absolutely awesome. And you know what? I'm already getting excited about next year's Patreon season. I'm gonna start calling it Patreon season because when I have that many meetups going on, it's like a whole season of stuff going on. So I really enjoy it. Also, shout out to the YouTube members, equally important. And don't forget, guys, you can buy gift memberships. We were just talking about this in the back. You can buy gift memberships for people. So hook somebody up with a gift membership if you want. And the ever-changing board with no changes, the Adventure Club. You guys are awesome as well. What's up, Dan?
Man, not a lot. Happy Wednesday, Hump Day to everybody. Episode 212. Bill Duckett was first in the chat. What's going on, buddy? Kilo Oscar 4 Sierra X-Ray Hotel. Always good to see you. Georgia Parks and Propagation. That's our buddy Ron Chris. Alpha Echo 4 X-Ray Oscar was next. Matthew Brown. What's going on, my friend? Ronnie, Kilo Oscar 4 Zulu Romeo X-Ray. Kent, Kilo 9 Alpha Echo Echo. Larry Bingham from Ohio is in the house. We were just talking about boiled peanuts. Apparently he doesn't like boiled peanuts, but the pecan pie is where it's at. It's pecan, apparently, not pecan. Pecan pie. Of course, Mike's here, N2MAK. Hello, hello. Dennis, Alpha Delta 9 and Whiskey Mike. What's going on, buddy? Andy Callie, our brother, is always here. Welcome, welcome. Kenny, KC5, MJ Echo. What's going on, my friend? Mike 88KB. Got you. Gary Graham. Still scrolling. My YouTube chat just jumped on me. It jumps wherever it feels like, and it makes me mad. Chris, Whiskey 8 Oscar X-Ray, we got you. NC Old Man Overload. That's Max, our buddy Turd, N4TRD. What's going on, my friend? Pete Knapp, KN8PPY, listening from West by New York. What he said. Whiskey Delta 4, Juliet, Mike Martini is here in the house. Whiskey 1, Whiskey Charlie Brian. Hello. Robert Bob KO4 Zulu India Kilo Interstellar Starman. Is Patreon season kind of like hunting season? Yes. We send them off into the woods and the rest of us wear orange jackets and we have fun. That's right. Liz, Whiskey Romeo 8 Echo Whiskey Romeo. What's going on, Liz and fam? And Rod K4 DSX and Josh Bak Chicken Man Kilo 4 Lima India. Thanks everybody for joining us this awesome Wednesday Hump Day Happy Hour episode 212. Mike, good to see you, my friend. What's going on?
Awesome. No, thank you guys for having me. No, it's the kids are back to school, getting into like that new groove, and things are finally kind of settling down after summer and the back to school chaos last week, and it's settling down just in time because starting this weekend, like the next week or two in New York, it's going to be nuts when it comes to POTA, SOTA, and all things portable radio. And I appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk about it tonight.
Mine went back to school last week or week before last. They went back a little bit late this year. It's kind of surprising.
Yeah, ours went back, and it's the day after Labor Day.
Yep.
So last Tuesday. So it's just week, but it's usually the Tuesday or Wednesday after Labor Day in New York.
When I was in school, that's what we did. We went back after Labor Day. And now in West Virginia, they go back like 3 weeks before Labor Day.
Wow. That's crazy. What about you, James? You've been POTAing this week. What's been going on, buddy?
Buddy, I have. I've been doing some POTA, and
just a little.
POTA has been the good thing of today. The bands were actually really good today. Somebody, Steven asked me, said, "Was the bands bad? I noticed you went to 20 meters." I said, "No, I was just trying out 20 meters to see what it was like today."
Wow.
I was like 40 was fine. I was like, but I've been playing a little bit on 20, just trying to get a little bit extra. But funny thing, so we all know I've talked about for the last year and a half trying to get my daggone logbook of the world straightened back up. Ever since their incident when they had that big mess up, because that's when all mine started. So I finally get it all squared away and got everything right, and I put the new certificate in, and it's been so long the new certificate was expired.
Oh my God!
So I had to send off for another certificate today. So
that's great.
Hopefully, I will have my logbook of the world back up here shortly, because I have some satellite hunters that's wanting me to confirm a grid on there.
How many contacts are you behind, do you reckon?
Oh, I'm
probably about 15, 20, 30,000.
Sure, Ed. I mean, I look to break logbook of the world when I hit the upload button. I look to break it. So.
Oh, that is great. Gene McPhee from Killeen, Texas, N3XUS. Always good to see you, buddy.
So how long ago, James, real quick, did you start doing satellites? Is that relatively new for you or not?
Yeah, I'm a newbie on satellites for sure. Okay. Couple of months.
Okay. I did hear you on a pass like 2 weeks ago. I've just started. I haven't made a contact yet. I've listened on a couple passes. I did it when I was on vacation at the end of the summer, and I swore I heard your call. I kind of did a double take because I was listening. I was like, wait, what? Was that James?
I will tell you what. I'll tell you what. It makes a big difference when there's somebody that does POTA in on the satellite, and I throw my call out there, because immediately they will come right back to me.
Okay.
So I've noticed that. Matter of fact, I was having a really bad pass the other day, and I didn't think I was going to get anybody. And I heard Porker, Whiskey Victor 8 Tango, throw his call out. I said, "Whiskey Victor 8 Tango, Kilo Echo Papa Zulu November," and he came right back to me quickly.
Yeah, I heard the both of you on that one pass I caught, and I recognized both your calls and stuff right away.
Wait a
I'm
minute.
having
So you mean to tell me that you've been listening to passes to learn how things go instead of just jumping right in and like starting to talk?
Yeah, can you
Or
believe
you
that?
actually listen?
I tried
Wow.
transmitting and I got a problem in the battery. I'm using Alinco DJ G7, which is a tri-band full duplex, and I'm using the original battery on it. And when I was trying over the weekend, on the 2 passes I tried it, as soon as I keyed up, it just dead. Charge it up, charge up fine on receive, but the minute you click, it die out. But so I got to figure out a workaround or just try using a different radio for it. But as soon as I got that comfort level, like, okay, I'm gonna key up. Nope. But it's I try to be optimistic. It's a learning experience.
No.
It's funny to me because I'm used to doing all the talking on the radio, and on satellites I do more listening than I do anything, and just waiting for that. I feel like I'm in a PZN pileup, and I'm waiting for that moment when there's a little void and I can break into that pileup. That's what I feel like.
That's right.
So it's fun. I'm having fun with it.
It's a goal this year to make at least one contact, so I'll get there soon. So
yeah, you got this, man. It's not as hard as a lot of people make it. When I've seen people out there and say, "Yeah, I've tried this for like 6 months now, and I've not made a contact," you're trying wrong.
Yeah.
You're doing something wrong because it wasn't that hard to make a contact the first time. And the SO50, that's where it's at, man. The SO50, you can get in on that easy.
Yep, that's one of the 2 that I've been. It's SO50 and then AO 123 are the 2 that I've been paying, along with the ISS. But the ISS times and passes just haven't been convenient. It's like I'm not getting up at 3 a.m. to try.
Most
At least until I know what I'm doing.
Most of the time, the ISS is like an auctioneer hall.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
That's the one you're supposed to get on. The first thing you do is ask if the frequency's in use, right? Wouldn't that be hilarious? Is the frequency in use? Yes, idiot.
Yeah, they were giving me crap on the radio today because I had a guy after I had sit and called, "Is the frequency used forever?" And I started my activation, and then I worked Joe X-Ray Lima Sierra, and then right after him, some guy comes in there. "There's an ongoing QSO 1 up. We're going to need you to move. You moved right in on us." And I said, "Okay, I'll move." I said, "Just do me a favor. Next time, in the 5 times that I'm calling, is this frequency in use? Step over here then before I spot." That's why you call it. So you guys have ample opportunity to come over. But
Anyway, starting to fill up pretty good right now. I got Hillbilly Ham in here. Howdy.
Nice.
And Chris, K2PTC. Our brother Curtis came in here. Kilo Bobby 3 Country Music Television.
Roger.
Mr. Curtis.
Roger.
Michael and Mary have joined us. What's going on, everybody? We are here with our buddy Mike and 2MAK.
Yeah, we need to let him talk. We're sitting there talking about everything but what he came here to talk about.
Yeah, no, that's all good. So, what I'm here to talk about is we're talking about POTA, right? But we got something special going on, and maybe some of y'all, history classes, or grade school, learned about the Erie Canal. It turns 200 this year. Technically, it's in October, but there's this thing called the World Canals Conference that's going on September 16th to the 25th. So a week from today, it starts. And the state has organized a lot of the commemorations and celebrations for the Erie Canal's birthday to coincide with this major conference, which is going to be in Buffalo. So, Matt's in the chat, Kilo Echo 2, or Kilo 2 Echo Alpha Golf. Matt's out in Western New York. We've been talking and working on this for a while, just trying to organize a lot of POTA activity along the Erie Canal for that celebration. And the canal is a very, very unique park. So I'll back up just a little bit of background on the canal. Obviously, it's 200 years old. construction started on it in central New York in 1817. It was 1825 when it was completed, and that connects some of the Great Lakes, where there's like Lake Ontario, Lake Erie, and all the other Great Lakes, to the Atlantic Ocean via the Hudson River. And so it was, back in the 1800s, that was a key way for commerce and transportation, going along the canal. And so it played an important part in history. And Congress created what's called the Erie Canalway National Heritage Corridor. And those of us in POTA might have heard of heritage areas or heritage corridors. There's about 60 or so of them in the U.S. and they are parks, but they're not managed by the National Park Service. It's usually states or nonprofit organizations and whatnot. But the Erie Canalway National Corridor covers a major part of New York State. It goes from one end in the west in Buffalo all the way out to Albany in the east, right near the Massachusetts border. It goes a little bit up into the North Country, cuts into the Finger Lakes area where I am, and it ends up spanning, let me look at the numbers, 524 miles. It's 4,834 square miles, 23 different counties.
Wow.
My house right now, I live in the park. Obviously, my house is private property, so I'm not doing POTA from there. But because this park is so big, it creates a ton of NFers, 2FERs, 3FERs, 4FERs. Within the park, there are 4 national parks. There's 1 national forest, 2 national wildlife refuges, 1 national trail, 4 natural landmarks, 11 state wildlife areas, 9 New York State historic sites, and 24 New York State parks. So you start to do the math. Those are a ton of 2FERs and 3FERs, and I've even done a 4FER. I think at least 2 4FERs in the canal. So
I'm moving to New York. That's crazy.
Yeah. This is POTA country for sure.
I know,
There's no
yeah.
shortage of parks. My son, I was going to do POTA tonight during my son's flag football practice, because his flag football practice is at a POTA park. It's because it's a town park, but it's public land. It's a town park in the canalway.
Don't tell that to James, because I can see him sitting in the bleachers at a football game right now going.
So usually, like when he has practice at these parks, I'll sit there and I'll bang away some contacts. Maybe I'll just do FT8 so I'm not bothering anyone. Just put a ham stick up on the car and just do some FT8, or I'll do activations. I worked Japan on 15 meters before one of his soccer games in the canal. I was like, that was a boss move to just walk from the car to the sidelines. Like, I just worked Japan.
Yeah.
No, it's at the end of the day, it's a big park. And I'll try to see if I can put this on the screen. I got image in there.
Dan will probably have to move it up.
Yeah, I can. Is that the one you're sharing? Yep,
there's just one in there. Yeah, there it is. So you heard me talk. Here's the picture. The green, and this is kind of the best map that I could get to try to condense everything on there because of the size. But this is a big park, folks. It's big because it encompasses a lot of these other canals that were feeders for it. And so that's why you see some dips down to Watkins Glen and Ithaca. But I mean, the major cities across New York, Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Utica, Albany, these are all within there. And it's just a massive, massive park. It's a great opportunity to get out there and play. We are spoiled with it. It's one of the best kept secrets in POTA in New York. It's not really a secret because those of us here know all about it and take advantage of it. But on to the event. So September 16th to 25th, those are the dates to remember. We got 19 clubs in New York so far that are doing events. And it could be as simple as what my club is doing is they're keeping a registry of all the POTA activators in the Rochester, New York area and my club who are going to go out. They want us to just kind of submit your plans if you know where you're going to go or whatever. And that way people who are interested and maybe want to tag along can show up. I've already had someone reach out and like, hey, I'd really love to go activate with you or see how you set up. Sure. Once I figure it out. in the next week, I'll post it, and I'll go out happy to show people and Elmerum and all that. But then other clubs like Utica in central New York, which is the city I'm from, they're going to go out and activate each day from the 16th to the 25th. And they've got 10 different parks that are all NFERs within the Canalway mapped out, and they're going to hit all 10 of those. And so there's just going to be a lot of activity, but this isn't just for clubs. We're just trying to encourage anyone, because you don't have to. I could have activated it today. You don't have to wait for these dates. And I've heard from clubs and individuals that are doing special event calls, that are doing special QSL cards and everything. So next week, you're going to see the POTA spotting page light up with 6532. And we've even asked a lot of the clubs or individuals, so when you're going out to do these NFERs, spot yourself at 6532, just so everyone can see. And just to step away from the activator side, because we don't get to do what we do unless there's somebody on the other end calling back. For the hunters, if you want to get repeat offender awards, if you want to get N1CCs, the hard ones to get, the hunting N1CCs, this is a great opportunity to try to do that, because we're going to have so many activators out in the parks doing all the bands, all the modes. We got 2 battleships on opposite sides of the state, in Albany and Buffalo, the USS Little Rock in Buffalo, USS Slater in Albany. They're going to be active. I know that there's going to be Saturday, Sunday evening, that weekend during the event on the Little Rock. They're going to be doing 80 and 160 meters Saturday night into Sunday. So, you want to try to get this park on a number of bands, or just get that repeat offender. This is a really good opportunity to
How many days is it?
16th to the 25th. So
9 days. Damn.
something like that. Yeah.
I think the club needs an eagle at this park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it might even be possible, because I was just looking at some little preliminary stats here for the Erie Canalway Corridor National Heritage Area is what it's called.
Yeah.
It's been activated coming up on 3,000 times.
Yeah.
Over 110,000 QSOs have been made from this park, and number 1 on the activator QSO list with just over 7,000 contacts, 7,300 contacts is that guy right down there.
Am I number 1 on the contacts?
On the activator QSOs, yeah, you got
Okay.
7,340.
Right. Yeah, I know I'm like number 2 on the activations.
Yep.
I've activated like a couple hundred times, but there's somebody.
229.
Someone's up
Well,
there.
he told you he can walk out of his yard and activate.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. It's hard not to activate in it. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. So this is a great opportunity, if you're a hunter too. And, that's kind of why I wanted to come on and talk about it too, because, there's a lot of people that might be seeing the spotting page and be like, why are all these people at 6532? Come on, go to another park or something. Well, they might actually be at a 2-fer or a 3-fer, because they're trying to have them spot in the canal. I usually do the opposite when I'm at one of these NFERs. I spot for the state forest or the other park, and then, the canal's the bonus, right?
Right.
But no, we want to celebrate it and show it off. And so you're going to see the page lit up, and definitely get us in the logs. And if you are in New York, you're probably, unless you're down in New York City or Long Island, you're probably not far from a park or an area that you can activate in the canal, and want to encourage you to get out there. There's, like I said, there's 19 clubs. So pretty much any of these clubs going across the state got something going on. So there's ways to get out there and activate, or just go observe and get Elmered, and then, hopefully get on the air. So yeah.
That sounds like a fun time for sure.
I think so. I'm looking forward to it. I still got to make my plans. I'll be out over the weekend for sure. I know I got a couple practices I'll be at, and I'll probably just do quick activations from the car when my son's at football or something like that.
Work
But
a little Japan during the third quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
why not? Yeah. So, but no, like it's really exciting, and looking forward to it. And, that's what I'm here primarily to talk about. But I know I teased in the beginning, there's a lot going on, and like, there's of course the VHF contest going on this weekend, but the other thing that's going on in New York is the Activate the Adirondacks. That's this weekend. The Adirondack Park in New York is the largest park in the lower 48. More than 6 million acres. It's huge. New York is basically parks.
Yeah.
we got parks and taxes in New York. That's what we have, right? And but there's going to be POTAs, sodas, fire towers on the air all over this weekend for the Adirondacks. And that's actually kind of a nice thing too, given the VHF contest. If anyone in New York is in those areas, you listen on 5.2, you're going to hear activity.
Speaking of parks and taxes, we talked about this a couple streams ago. Do you have to pay to enter your state parks in New York?
Yes and no. So generally during the major seasons, and I'll get to Chris's question right after, pretty much like April, May, up until October-ish, they're going to charge admission to the state parks. And this is the traditional parks. They're going to have beaches, campgrounds, and things like that. Obviously not state forests, wildlife areas. That's completely different. They're going to charge. There's ways to get what they call an Empire Pass for free. I know I got a couple veterans I'm friends with. They have it because of being veterans. So they get free admission. But the winter time, they don't charge. And so what I like to do, because I'm cheap, I'm a ham, right?
Right.
I will go to the state parks during the winter time when they're not charging. But that also means they're not busy. So I don't got to worry about getting in the way of somebody or anything else. I can kind of have the place to myself, not have to pay. And that's a good time to go because they'll still plow the roads, the snow at the state parks, but they're not going to be plowing the wildlife management areas and the state forests or any of that stuff. So, and when there's the hunting season as well, that's when I'll step back from the state forests and those, that's their time to go hunt. I can do POTA any other time, right? And I'll go to the other parks. You can check out the Empire Pass from local libraries in New York, though. I checked it out of the library when we went on vacation not long ago, and get it for free from the library. You use that library card and you get the pass for the parks and not have to pay, whether you're going to do POTA, you're going to camp or anything like that. But they do charge, but it's only part of the year. And there's the library is a good way to get around that.
Awesome. So yeah, can you activate 6532 from Long Island?
No. Nope.
There you go.
Doesn't go down that far. You're going to have to be closer to Albany. So yeah.
Chris also says the Empire Pass is worth the $80 a year if you were to buy it.
Yep. I've debated, but I had already kind of fallen into that system where I'm not going to the major state parks during the peak season and stuff. So I've gotten by with renting or borrowing it from the library, but I might because at the same time too, there's a part of me that's like, yeah, I want to support the parks, but if I'm also not using it.
A lot of chat about the New York POTA group meetup this past weekend in Watkins Glen, saying it was a very, very good thing. A lot of people and not far from a tree.
I was not there at it. I've seen a lot of the posts. I was actually out in New Hampshire for the Live Free and Ham 24-hour POTA that was done out there. We had probably like more than 20 people out there, and we had horrendous weather. We got downpoured lightning and everything else, but we persevered and we had fun and stuff. But yeah, it's a big time of year for POTA, and you got these content. You got the Activate the Adirondacks. We got the Canal coming up. New York's QSO party is in October. There'll be the POTA fall special event coming up. It's a great time to get on the air and get out to the parks.
Where was that at in New Hampshire, by the way?
Greenfield State Park.
And no, I'm not familiar.
I'm trying to think. This is the first time I was ever in New Hampshire.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a little bit past Keene.
Okay. You know where Keene is.
Like to the east of that.
Okay.
A little bit. So. We had a great spot.
I know I had a
but
couple
weather,
of
man,
people
oh.
hunt me from that.
Were people hunting you from there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the
Not
24-hour
surprised.
event.
Yep. Yeah, so it was fun, and we live streamed a lot of it and raised money for the ARL's Teacher Institute that Steve Goodgame does. So
That's a good thing.
Yep.
I was just about to say that's a really fantastic thing that Steve puts on there.
Yeah, I don't know the details of how much. I got a ballpark figure, but I know the guys want to announce it when they do a live stream later at some point. So I'll leave it to them to announce. But it's a good thing. Steve's doing great work, and it's a fun way to we'll be out playing radio no matter what. Why not get together, do something different, and do some good with it as well. So yeah. And it was fun just to see some of these people for the first time. I'm sure you know how it is. It's some of these meetups or Hamfests when people you've talked to on the air or engaged with online, but never had that eyeball cue. So it's always nice.
Yeah, most of the time you're not going there for the activation itself. You're going there for the people, right?
Yeah.
Make those friendships that last and everything else.
And back to what Chris said about it's worth it, to get to pay the $80 for the Empire Pass. Most places that do charge for parks, it is worth it if you get the season pass. I know I get it every year in Florida, and the way I get it after the first day of the month in February. That way it don't expire till March of the next year. That way I actually get it for 2 years. But it is worth it 100% because you'll pay a whole lot more if you activate a lot like I do.
Yep.
But I still disagree with them charging because your taxes go into that park to start with, and they're kind of double dipping off of you. They're making it harder for you to have a healthy lifestyle. I would rather you sit at home and play video games. So,
my youngest son, I jokingly call him the unlicensed one because I got two boys, 15 and 11. The 15-year-old's got his general. He got his general when I got my ticket during COVID. The youngest is unlicensed still, but he had a soccer tournament out towards Buffalo, and it was in a state park. I knew in advance because it's a state park, they're probably going to charge us going in. So I picked up the pass. So I had it, and I didn't have to pay the $8 or $12 or whatever it was they would charge to get in each of the 2 days. But it's a frustrating thing because yes, I did activate and play POTA in between his games, but it's like, whether you're going there for recreation or your kids got sports and activities and all this other stuff, it's kind of like, really? Like, I got to pay to go to. It's bad enough I got to pay for him to play soccer. Now I got to go pay to go watch him. Like,
and then on top of that, I know a lot of states. Some of them will have, just where you pay yourself. Some of them takes cash. Some of them only takes card. What are you supposed to do? Always have both with you at all times? But I've been to the same state and two different scenarios. One of them only took a card. One of them only took cash.
Some of them some of them around here and really in Florida too. Some of them are on the honor system too. There's just a box with them.
Yeah, I do see. I've seen those too, the boxes and stuff like that.
And it's really funny. So I get the Georgia State Parks Pass every year because it's financially feasible for me to do that rather than pay $5 a pop every time I go into a state park. But it's fun to go in there, the ones that are on the honor system, and just sit there for a while and watch people come in that don't put any money in that box. It's like, man, come on,
Yeah.
Oh, let's see here. Anything in the chat that we need to catch up on here? Still a lot of talk about that Watkins Glen. They got a racetrack in Watkins Glen, don't they?
Oh yeah, that's a famous one back. It used to do F1. I know they've done some NASCAR there. It doesn't host the big races like it used to a long time ago, but that's a piece of racing history if anyone's into racing, whether it's F1 or NASCAR and stuff. So
that is I can't read that. KE2CIE 5 pizzas. Thank you very much, buddy.
Here, I can look on the thing.
Mark's here, Victor Alpha 3 Hotel Echo Sierra from Toronto. Howdy.
Yeah, KE2CIE. Thank you very much for the buy me a coffee. Appreciate it very much. So yeah,
NASCAR Cup race at the
I,
Glen. That's what
I encourage everybody to come to West Virginia to activate because we don't charge you to come in parks. Our parks are nice. Our parks are kept clean, and we don't charge you for it. There's two parks that you would have to pay for, and I say might. One would be it's a resort park, and a lot of times they don't charge you if you just tell them you're going in to do POTA. They don't even charge you. They just charge you if you're going to play golf or something like that. And the other one would be if you don't know the right way into Harper's Ferry, like Dan.
Yeah, it costs you $20 if you don't know the right way.
But the rest of them are absolutely free, and most of them you can do 24 hours a day.
And that was brutal too, because I mean the line was already long, right? And I'm on my road up the East Coast, going to New Hampshire, going to the lake house. And I got to get West Virginia on the way because right there, Maryland, you can get like 3 states right there, like back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
And so I go to Harper's Ferry because James says, man, it's a beautiful park. You should go to Harper's Ferry. I'm like, cool. All right. So I drive up in there and the line was already long. So I'm already in line for like 20 minutes. I'm like, man, it's going to take forever to get this done. And once you're in line, it's kind of like the line to Chick-fil-A when it wraps around the building. They got you trapped.
Yep.
You can't exit. So I finally get up there and I see how much it's going to be on the little sign. And I'm like, what? $20? I was only there for 20 minutes to get my contacts. I said, y'all people that helped me activate this park, it is about $1 a contact. I appreciate that.
That's right. The New River Gorge is a national park and it's free to come in West Virginia. There is no national park fee to go into the New River Gorge. And I did not know that it was free to camp there.
There you
That's
go.
good to know.
Next time I go through West Virginia, it'll be there and not Harper's Ferry.
Yeah. Have either of you activated in New York?
Yes.
I've got one activation in New York.
Let me tell you where. Because I don't recall. It was a couple years ago. Because I did every state up the East Coast and back. I'll tell you where in just a minute.
I really want to go up around the Adirondacks because I hear it's just absolutely beautiful up there.
Is.
I want to say
it really is. And whether it's POTA, SOTA, the fire towers, there's a cool, what is it? Sugar Hill State Forest, I think. Sugar Hill, yeah, which is down near Watkins Glen, not far from where that camp out was. This is a state forest, and they got a fire tower there. I went and did a POTA and a SOTA, so it qualifies for a drive up SOTA. And I climbed up on the fire tower with my HT and made a couple contacts on 5.2, and then did some HF and VHF.
I remember this park I did in New York too, because I did it with Toby, Brian Duddy, and Joe and 3XLS.
Oh, Brian's great.
And I remember it because we were following the GPS. It was Huckleberry Ridge State Forest.
Okay. And
I remember we were following the GPS and it sent us through some residential neighborhood. And I'm like, this can't be right. Absolutely. something's wrong here. And at the end of this winding uphill drive, all of a sudden you come to a cul-de-sac and there was a sign that said Huckleberry Ridge State Forest. And I'm like, what? Yeah, I remember that. It was Huckleberry Ridge State Forest, and we did it shortly after we did what's the one in New Jersey? The highest point in New Jersey? High Point State Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if I did Huckleberry Ridge, as soon as I pulled up on the ridge, my phone would go, "I'm your Huckleberry."
It gives me, if you activate it with Brian, it gives me an idea like what part of the state and an area that is. So
yeah,
yep.
Yeah, because he came down to High Point and met us down there, and then we did because I did Pennsylvania with Joe and 3XLS at a twofer. Mm-hmm. Then we went over to meet Toby at High Point. Brian came, and GIY was there too. I can't remember his prefix, but
okay.
And then we went over to Huckleberry Ridge. It wasn't far, maybe 15-minute drive from where we were. So.
Yeah, I've never actually met Brian or Joe, so I'm kind of jealous of that one. I've met a lot of POTA people, but those are two that I have not met. And
I don't think I met Brian in person. Like we're friends online. We talk all the time on
it's
40 meters.
it's
we're
crazy
activating.
too, because when I very first started activating, it was not an activation if I didn't get the Hotel Alpha train, which was Kilo 2 Hotel America and November 5 Hotel Alpha, and get Brian and Joe. Every activation, those 4 calls were in my log when I first started. Like it was like clockwork.
Yeah, Steve Brian's so Steve said Brian is awesome. Brian's just a pure human being. You know what I mean? He's just an awesome people. You know, I mean, don't even factor ham radio into it. He's just an awesome person. Yeah, that's right. It was KD2GIY. Yep.
That's right out here.
That was a fun little trip. Yep.
Chili is just like 2 towns over. Yeah.
Everywhere I go, I have fun. That's the thing I really love about POTA, is because it's when I go to these places, it's more about me meeting the people that I've talked to forever. And it's crazy because they'll come up to me and they'll be all excited to meet me, and they don't realize I'm probably just as excited, if not more, to meet them. You know, because I mean, it's like, once you've talked to somebody, you know, 1,000 times or something, you're family, you know. I talk to POTA people way more than I do anybody else. So,
yep.
Yeah, and you start to learn their voices and their nuances too. Like you've never met somebody face to face, and they walk up behind you and say, "Hey, Dan," it's like you already know who it is. You know, even though you've never met them, you already know who it is just by the way they talk. And it's like, "Hey, buddy,"
especially if it's Arnold.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I always you're kind of touching on it earlier and talk about, I always like to say it's definitely the people that make POTA and ham radio great. It's not the antennas or the radios. Those certainly help, but at the end of the day, it's like the people. Like you need good people, and there's a lot of great people in POTA, and
you know, I wish more of ham radio was like people in POTA. I really do. Because, like, you know, if everybody would get along like POTA people get along, it'd be so. Like the other day, I was out activating, and I had a really weak Victor Alpha 3 station, and I thought it was trying to work me, and I'm struggling to get his call, and I'm actually putting out a video of this because I ended up liking everything that I caught on footage, but I struggled to get his call, and I couldn't hear what he was saying after his call or anything. And I told him, I said, I got you in the log, and I went on, and I could weakly maybe hear him in there just a little bit, like he was still talking to me, but I'm used to that. There's times where I'll work somebody, and 3 calls later they're still carrying on with me, and I'm just rolling, you know, and I don't think nothing about it. And well, finally a guy comes on there and told me, said, he's running a net over there. And I said, "Oh, okay. Thanks for letting me know. I'll go ahead and move for you."
Yeah.
And I just went ahead and said, "Guys, I'm going to QSY," and I'm fixing my log and stuff. And I hear that guy tell him, say he's moving to another frequency. He said he couldn't hear you, blah, 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 blah. And I move on to another frequency, and everything's so. About 5 minutes later on the other frequency, somebody pops in and throws out their call sign, and they work me. And they said, "Was you the guy up on 7255?" And I was like, "Yeah." "Well, you missed the accolades. I just want to tell you that net operator really, you know, appreciated you moving and said, you know, you were what ham radio was about. And he said he really gave you some good remarks and stuff like that." And, you know, I tell them, if you just ask somebody nicely, it'll go a long way. Just don't get on there and say, you know, "You got to move. We've been here for 74 years. Well, I've been here for the last hour, and according to the law, it's my frequency. I don't care." But, you know, just be nice to people. But a lot of people just can't do that, you know.
Yeah, I had the opposite. I'll share this quick story. It happened at the end of the summer. we go on vacation. My in-laws have a cottage near the Thousand Islands on Lake Ontario in northern New York. And there's a 1812 historic battlefield that's in Sackett's Harbor, New York, and been going to it for years because there's a nice brewery right down the road from it. And
that's the only reason you need right there, buddy.
Yep. So the mapping coordinator is in my club for New York, and I mentioned it to him sometime last year. I was like, hey, does this qualify? I know you're adding new parks now. And he looked, he's like, yeah, it looks like it does. And months went by, it didn't get added. And so before I went on vacation, I was like, hey, are you able to get around to adding that park or what? He's like, oh, I was waiting for you to tell me when you're going. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, hey, I'm leaving on Sunday. And sure enough, Sunday night, I get a text from him and he goes, park goes live in about an hour. And I was like, well, I guess we're going tomorrow. And so I'm just up there with my two boys. And I told my oldest son, I'm like, hey, you want to go get an atno? And he's like, yes. So I'm like, all right, we're going tomorrow morning. We got a request for 40 meters for the locals first. And we get on 40 meters and we've already activated. We're towards the end. It was going to be real quick because my other son was with us, and he can only take so much. And some guy comes on and starts swearing at us, going, what the hell are you guys doing up here in the AM portion? There's a net going on, a couple down or a couple above. What the hell's wrong with you? And this and I just said, unidentified caller. This is November 2 Mike Alpha Kilo. I'm here with my son, W2 BMK, my other son, WRQD 683. We're doing a POTA activation, QSL, and just dead silence, And it's like, dude, if you took the other approach and you came to me and said, hey, we got a net going on, it's starting this, that, I get that all the time. Anytime someone's polite, no problem. Give me your call. I'll put you in the log and we'll wrap. Let me just do last call and we'll be gone in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
There's plenty of bands and space to play, right? But you're going to get on, and I got my two kids in the car, and you're going to get on, start cursing like that, and you don't even have the balls to put out your call or something like that. Come on, get out of here. Like that's it's just unfortunate, and you don't see POTA people act like that. So anyway, that's my rant. Thanks
to Kilo Echo 2 Charlie India Echo for the super chat. He said he's very impressed with the POTA community. Amazing group of people. Thank you for welcoming me in, new POTA activator. So absolutely, POTA people are absolutely great. I've said it a million times. Like, I feel like I could break down anywhere in America and somebody would come get me. That's how great POTA people are, and it's just amazing. And yeah, you definitely have your sad hams. I was up on 7288, and I'm right below AM calling frequency.
You're right up there.
I called the frequency in use like 3 times, and some guy popped in there and said, "Are you on sideband?" I said, "Are you?" He said, "You're in the AM calling window." I said, "No." I said, "The AM calling window's up at 7290. I'm the 7288.
That's where I was.
I said, "I'll gladly move for you, but I would suggest you don't crack an attitude, because after that, it's fair game." And then he left.
I was at 7290 one night, knowing damn well I was in the AM window, but the band was just stacked full, and I knew there was a good chance I was going to get messed with. And the guy came down and goes, "You realize you're in the AM window?" I said, "Yeah, actually, I do realize I'm in the AM window." But before I started, I asked if the frequency was in use. And I know, because I've run AM before, I know you might not hear me. So I scrolled all the way up to 7,300 and back down. That 10 kc, didn't hear nothing.
Yep.
So I said, we'll take our chances. But sure enough, somebody said you're in the AM window. But we got to talking about propagation and talking about radios and everything. He was the nicest dude in the world. We sat there and probably had a rag chew for 5 minutes while I had a pile up on hold. And I said, "Man, I ain't got no problem."
The thing about it is all these frequencies, belong to this and belong to that. But all that's a gentleman's agreement.
Yeah.
But what it boils down to is if they're not in use, they're legal to use.
Mhm.
You can call the FCC and say Whiskey Delta 4 Delta Alpha November's on the AM calling frequency on sideband, and they're going to say,
So
okay, you're wasting my time. Why?
Hold on, let me go get him.
yeah.
They're gonna work you.
Like they don't got time for your nonsense. I mean, they don't even bother with the 7,200 people.
No.
I mean, come on, that's the cesspool of the world down there.
Yeah, and we've and I'm not. It doesn't faze me that much that the guy's cursing when I got my kids, because on Thanksgiving last year, my oldest son and I, we have a tradition. He got into POTA when I did, but he turns 16 next month. He's thinking about other things more than radio.
Yeah.
We've all been there, but we go out on holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving. Those are our things. We always go out then, and we always go out together when we're on vacations somewhere different. And so that was, the Atno recently, but we go out on Thanksgiving, it's tradition. And 7.2 was clear. And I was like, Ben,
Dangerous.
here's how this goes. I'm like, there's some chuckleheads that hang out here, right? And they're not here now. They might come, but sure enough, he's like, let's do it. And so we activated. We were far into the activation before they came, and then we sat and listened after we left. And they were like, "What the hell? It's a holiday. Why are they out doing POTA and this and that?" And he's like,
just last night, somebody come on my frequency, cussing up a storm. It's the middle of the week. You're not allowed to contest in the middle of the week. And was just ranting and raving like I was contesting.
Yeah.
So I started just giving people numbers at the end. I'm like, Whiskey Delta 4 Delta Alpha November, you're 5-9, your number 666-554-222. And I just kept giving people numbers just to,
that's funny.
I'm not contesting, but if you want to fuss about it, guess what? There's no rule that says I can't contest in the middle of the week.
There's plenty of spectrum out there. I worry more about losing spectrum, like what's going on in some of the VHF stuff and UHF, whether it's satellites or other things. But there's plenty of space to go play. And if there's a contest and 20s pack, there's 17, and you're probably going to get similar propagation there. If 40's packed, you can jump to 60 or something. I know it's not as attractive and stuff, but there's options out there.
Don't get James started on 60 meters. He used to have a lid that would chase him on every channel on 60 meters. So you can't POTA on 60 meters. It's against the
POTA guidelines. You can POTA anywhere but 60 meters.
Yeah.
I was like, what's the URL for that?
I love 60 meters. Well, a couple of my favorite bands, 60 meters, because it sits right in that little gap between 40 and 80, which is really cool.
I was just there last night, actually.
But,
did really well.
My best band, and it's never going to happen, but I'm just going to spew my idea here. If they ever widen out 30 meters just a tad and open it for voice, that is an awesome band. I love 30 meters.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do a little self promotion here. In the beginning of the year, my older son, the licensed son, Ben and I did a video, and we created something that I had this idea for, because my whole mantra is leave no band behind. I like being on all the different bands. I do the VHF contests. It's fun. It's a good opportunity to learn and try new things. And so we did this Work Band Wednesday video, kind of funny thing, with him dressed up as the POTA police, or the band police, because I was on 17 meters, and it was just a fun thing to make fun of, the lids that are out there, like, oh, you can't do this on the work bands or this or that. So I've forced myself this year to try to be on the work bands every Wednesday. And even today, I didn't make it out to do 17 meters, but I at least did WinLink on 30 meters. And the nice thing about that, though, is, trying out I've actually learning about 30 meters. And I mean, that would be phenomenal if that opened up to voice and gave us a little bit more bandwidth there. That would be something else.
A lot of people say 6 meters is the magic band. For me, it's 30 because it sits right there in that nice little pocket.
Yep.
You know,
I love 30. I love 30.
Yep.
But, you know, the point of it is these sad hams can like it or not like it, but the only reason we haven't lost Spectrum is because of POTA, because it wasn't getting used.
Mhm.
And POTA now it does get used.
Yep.
And
I can agree with that because ever since when POTA started to really explode, what was it? What was the end POTA stuff? 2015, 2016?
POTA started in 2017 is when it
Yeah,
started.
so and then POTA started after that, and really around 2021 is when it started to really take off. And yeah, I mean, it got me in. I mean, I've been licensed since 95, Mike, and I had a technician license since 1995. I got my technician, no code, because I hated Morse code, and I figured I'd have no reason for Morse code in my life. So I specifically waited till they got rid of the code requirement.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And now I do Morse code all the time, and I love it. And I didn't do anything with my license until 2020, 2022, somewhere around in there, where I'm scrolling around my little section of 10 meters that I'm allotted to as a technician. And I heard this guy calling CQ POTA, and I'm like, the hell is this POTA stuff? And then it's like, I need to get my general so I can get on, 20 voice and 40 voice and not just, 40 CW and stuff like that. And that's what got me back into ham radio was POTA. I mean, I'd still be just a licensed technician, not doing anything with my license, and just every 10 years sending in the paperwork just so I don't lose the call sign. Yeah, I mean, that's it. So.
My son, when he got licensed, he was 11 during COVID, and I had just finished. He did a class that my club runs for techs and generals. It's like a 3-month Zoom, but during that time on my own, I did my tech, general, and extra, and then I started doing POTA. So he gets his tech, and then bring him out to watch me do a POTA and this and that. And he wasn't thinking at first, that first month of being a ham, he was content just checking into the nets. They let him run net control locally a couple times. They thought it was fun, but seeing me and wanting to do that, he was like, okay, yeah, I'll go get my general. And so I worked with him for a couple months, and he tested like in July that year and got it after being a tech for a few months. So I think it does encourage people to continue on in a big way. Maybe not so much to make that jump from general to extra. I rarely use those frequencies. I'm glad I did it, but I rarely use it. But it's nice to have.
When I got my extra about a year ago, right at about a year ago, I upgraded to extra, and I can count on one hand the number of times that I've used those frequencies. And of course, once you get your extra, you have to do the obligatory extra only POTA activation just because you can.
Yeah.
So I did that, and but I mainly got it so I could become a VE to help other people test.
Yep.
It's not for the increase.
So you don't gotta look. How far down can I go?
Yeah.
Right.
I probably spent more time calling out people like, oh, you can't go down there when I'm out with them at the park than I've actually made contacts on my own in the extra portion.
It's like, why am I getting nobody to call me? Oh, I'm in the advanced and extra part. That's probably why.
That is, I'll say this though, that is the one thing that does get some POTA people salty on the spotting pages. If you are in the extra portion, they'll be like, come up. Yep. I can't go down there or whatever. But sometimes you want to go down there, like on 7.2. And
you know
like
what?
You want to get below 7.2 to work DX in the evening.
I was going to say, what a lot of people don't understand is you got to go lower to work to get the DX because they can't go up this high.
Yep. So like on 40 meters is a good example where it's definitely come in handy sometimes. There's not a lot of space there compared to 20 anyway. And but if you want to try to get some of that DX from Europe in the evening, that's where you want to be.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah, and I've done AM down in the extra portion a couple times too on 40. Just because it's hard if you do AM and of all the things, when that AM guy was cursing at my son and I was like, do you realize how much AM I've done and stuff for POTA? But yes, you got to try to find that space, and I don't want to step on anyone. And then if you got, propagation changing in the evening, and you're starting to get foreign radio stations come in and other things that you're picking up. And it's just like, sometimes down there is the only place that you can find a good spot. So
KD8DRT asks if anyone has ever done a DX only activation. When I did my 1 milliwatt activation a while back, I did an activation entirely on 1 milliwatt. Every contact I got, I don't care if it was in the same city, I considered it DX. So, yes.
I'm guessing that was CW, right?
Yeah, it was CW. Okay. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. What band did you do that on? 20?
20.
I did
20. And
I did mine on sideband.
Yeah, I did 20 and 40. And surprisingly, it didn't take as long as I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
And I got pretty decent range. I think my longest contact was from South Georgia, where I am, pretty much North Florida, to, I want to say, Indiana.
I did.
On a milliwatt.
It's the funny thing. People complain if they know I'm doing CW or doing QRP, but I did mine on sideband, and I think it was 14 minutes, and I had 18 calls.
Yeah,
I've done a handful of 1 watt SSB activations, and it might be a little bit slower, but you still get them if you're using a decent antenna or something.
That's the tree. That's the key.
If they don't know your QRP, they don't fuss. They just blame it on propagation.
Yeah.
All righty. Looks like we are at the top of the hour, and as always, we'll go ahead and see what we're going to ask you. What you got coming up, Mike? But we kind of know what you're going to say. But what do you got coming up, Mike?
Yeah. No. Obviously, first things first. I'll be out. I got a wedding on Saturday, so Sunday is going to be my day to play VHF in the contest. So I'll be out working all bands from 6 meters to 1.2 gigs, and I always do it from a park. I got a very active VHF community in Western New York and Southern Canada, so it's easy to make contacts on some of those bands. But it's a fun time to kind of dust off some of those radios and antennas you don't use that often. So there's that. Next week, when the canal celebration starts, I'll be out activating multiple times during that, and then New York QSO parties in October. I'll start thinking about POTA for that. They've changed the rules the last couple of years to make it really convenient for portable stations, whether it's with spotting and some other things. And so I didn't get a chance to play. I had a conflict last year, so I want to go out and play in that. But lots of POTA, that's for sure.
Good deal. All right, Dan, what do you got coming up?
Not a whole lot. Thank you, everybody, for joining James, me, and Mike this beautiful Wednesday for Hump Day Happy Hour. I just dropped 2 links in the chat to our after chat, which is where we're going to head to right after this. And James is going to let you know more about that now.
That's right. We're getting ready to head over to after chat. After chat is a Patreon benefit, but lucky for you, you can head over to Patreon and try it for free for 7 days. And then here's the kick. Here's the kicker that nobody can follow. I feel like a school teacher every week. You have to message me or Dan if you sign up for a free trial, because I don't get a notification. And in order for us to put you in that Discord room where you belong, we have to know. So please, and every week somebody goes and joins for free, and don't use no benefits because we don't never know. So please message us and come hang out with us. We have a great time. Could be talking about this stream. It could be talking about ham radio, or it could be talking about what Dan's cooking for dinner. You never know, but there's something for everybody over there. So come check it out. Mike, we appreciate you coming on and
thanks for having me
about the event. And I'm jealous of your 2 meter activity in your area. I would love to be in a place where I could go out in a park and do 2 meters. It's just rare to happen here, so I'm jealous.
That's one of the things my son and I were talking about, because we've done a couple 2 meter FM POTAs together, and I'll probably do one during the bicentennial with him. Do it on a weekday, maybe around 6-ish or so. Maybe catch some people just after they get home and before some nets start or other things, and just be out there on 5.2. Use it or lose it.
I've done some 2 meter soda, but not POTA.
Nice.
So, Anyway, thanks a lot for the super chat, guys, and we'll catch y'all
Yeah.
on the air or in the after chat. 73, everybody.
See you.
Thanks.